What's going on YouTube? This is Max coming back at you once again with another video. This time I'm doing a Call of Duty Cold War playing that 4K 120 gameplay on the Sony A90J, playing on the Xbox Series X. If you like this type of content, if you do me a favor by hitting that like and subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. So what I'm showing you guys right now is my settings that I have on the Xbox Series X. If you just saw earlier, I have it at game settings for the picture. And I have the auto HDR set to off. I have that off because some people who commented about the HDR color banding mentioned to leave that off. So I went ahead and did that to see if that will help. But I toggle between both of them and I'm still having the HDR color banding issue. But I really don't see it that much on certain games. I do see it on Call of Duty and I do see it on Destiny 2. But I know when I was playing on my PlayStation 5, I was playing Spider-Man Remaster or Miles Morales. I didn't have that issue. But let me go ahead and talk about Call of Duty. If you see here, I have the 120 hertz enabled for my settings. And I have everything ready to go. I'm about to go ahead and play some multiplayer for you guys.
Single subject, we shall to entire nations. What do we do when their doubts come and pave the way for the rise of Greater Russia?
So I had to play a little bit of the intro for Season 3 of Call of Duty Cold War. Just had to show that new season intro. Hope you guys like that. So I'm about to go ahead and jump into that multiplayer game. So just give you everyone a heads up. So I have a Sony ZV-1 camera that only can output at 4K 30 frames. So if you see like a little bit of motion blur on the TV, it is not the TV at all. It's totally the camera. So the camera can't keep up with the high frames. So just had to give everyone the FYI in regards to the gameplay footage. I am not seeing that motion blur that people may see on YouTube. So I just want to give everyone just a heads up. But playing on this 4K, playing at 4K 120 on the A90J, it plays very, very, very well on here. I'm very pleased of how responsive it is on this TV, and looking at this is really good. Definitely glad what Sony has implemented. However, I have mentioned this before in previous videos before. There is some HDR color banding. Seems to be on the Sony A90J, or it could be Sony TVs. So if you look up in the sky, you can see how some of the banding is showing. Now, some people have mentioned about grid lines. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to be looking for it because this TV is. I'm not returning this TV. Uh, right now, I'm pretty happy with my purchase, but I hope that Sony in the future will do some type of firmware update to address the HDR color banding and also add the VRR ALLM. But just like I mentioned on the Sony PS5, which I think is kind of interesting, when you turn on the PS5, it automatically switched to the correct game settings on the A90J. It seemed like it's a Sony features when a Sony is hooked up to another Sony, it automatically recognizes the system and put to the right input. On the Xbox Series X, it doesn't do that at all. I had to make sure I had to toggle between my custom settings to the game settings on here. Now the game settings that I have right now, I did make some tweaks to it. Hopefully it shows on the video itself, but most of the settings that I had came from D Nice from AVS forums. He was able to post his settings on the forum chat. So if anyone is interested, I'll put a link in the description. You guys could go to the A90J forum and you could take a look at the first page. I think it's either post number 2 or number 3 where you have the settings posted. So on this Call of Duty gameplay, it's pretty good, especially with the motion at the 4K 120. The only negative with the Sony A90J is that it didn't come out with the other features on here. So hopefully they'll address this in a future firmware update. And just to give a mention to, LG has some issues too with their game when they came out with their C9 and C10. So I'm not really worried about Sony that much, but it's just the thing is Sony is very slow when they come out with their firmware updates. So hopefully they get everything right in regards to the firmware update. I don't want them to break anything. So if they need to take whatever time they need to make sure to get it right, I'm all for it when it comes to this. So getting back to the gameplay, playing on the Sony A90J, one thing I do want to mention too, that when it comes to gameplay playing on this TV, I can just tell you that the details and texture, it just looking at the hair and clothing, just render and just in a way that it just is a really good TV. When it comes to motion wise, which I already mentioned before, is definitely buttery smooth, especially comparing it to my Odyssey G7. I have a Samsung Odyssey G7. You probably seen in my previous videos and doing those two comparisons. I think a Sony A90J does a great job. It's not better than the Odyssey G7, but it's definitely up there as a good gaming TV. As a comparing it to the LG, on the other hand, I don't have my hands on the LG C10 or C1, so I don't want to comment on those TVs until I have them on my hand. So what I plan on doing, I'm going to pick up a LG C1. The reason why I haven't picked it up yet is because I'm in the process of getting the basement done. And once I get that done, then I'm going to do a lot more comparison videos between TVs, because the setup that I have right now, I have one TV in one bedroom, I have a other TV in the living room. So just for sanity's sake, that's one of the things that I'm getting my basement done so I could have a proper setup for everyone, so I could start doing some better demos and comparison. So stay tuned for that. I will do a video on a little bit of the basement remodel. If you guys are interested, hit a comment, let me know what you guys would like to see, but I'll do that in the future video. But going back to the Sony A90J, I mentioned this before, especially being the Master Series TV, the lack of ALM and VR is considered a disappointment, especially when this TV just came out. It should have been featured already automatically when you purchase this TV. But I will say this right now. I don't know if people haven't seen this, but another person who commented on my videos, the Sony A90J is going on sale right now. I think it's $200 off from the original sales price. So that's another thing. If anyone is interested, this TV, when it comes to picture quality, it is one of the top notch. Comparing it to my Sony A9F, it is an improvement, especially with the processing, especially when it comes to the motion wise. People mention judder. I haven't seen any judder while using this TV or watching movies or playing games. So I guess that's just something that I'm not seeing that other people are probably seeing. I know that the Sony X90J, people are starting to review that were stating that there was some juddering issues with that TV, and I know Sony came out with a firmware update that fixes some of that juddering issue. But on the A90J, I have no issue. But yeah, so far when it comes to gaming wise, I'm pretty happy for the 4K 120. There is some HDR color banding, but it's not on all games, which I find it kind of interesting. I did show you, I did show a previous video on Resident Evil, The Village. I was looking up in the sky, I didn't see no HDR color banding. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man Remastered. No issues with HDR color banding. Ghost of Tsushima, the intro, I did see HDR color banding, but when I started playing the game and you starting to go into the open world, I didn't see HDR color banding. So it's a hit and miss on certain areas. I tried to play with the settings. The settings didn't seem to really work to help alleviate some of that. But it just seems to hit certain games where I have noticed it. But like other games that I just mentioned earlier, I haven't seen it. Even Gears of War, I played a little bit of Gears of War, and I didn't see no HDR color banding with that game. But I probably would have to take a look at it and just go from there. So another negative about the Sony gaming is the HDMI inputs. So if you look at my HDMI eARC specifically, you have three settings. You got standard, you got enhanced, and then you got the enhanced format for Dolby Vision. So I had to toggle between both. If I want to play 4K 120, I have to hit enhanced format. But if I want to look at Dolby Vision, then I have to toggle between the enhanced format Dolby Vision. So I know that Xbox Series X is going just implemented, I believe, testing for Dolby Vision gaming, and I don't know how Sony is going to implement that. I don't know if certain games that support it, I'm just throwing some games like Forza Horizon or Gears of War or Halo or whatever the game may be. Uh, if they have Dolby Vision gaming at 4K 120, by having that input Dolby Vision, I wonder how that's going to work. If certain games don't have Dolby Vision gaming, do I have to toggle switch to the other enhancements? So those are kind of like one of the negatives. I kind of wish Sony just had. I don't have to switch between settings. You just switch it to the HDMI that's capable of the 4K 120, and I don't have to toggle between each other. So that's just one downside that I'm talking about Sony. But I'm just showing you a little bit of daytime gameplay of Call of Duty Cold War. So when I was mentioning about HDR color banding, specifically in this particular match, I did not see it at all. So I was looking for it, I couldn't see it, And just like I mentioned, you see it on certain missions, you see it on certain games, but on this one specifically, I didn't see no HDR color banding. So this last video, I am doing a comparison on my Sony A9F with the A9, comparing it to the A90J. So I was able to capture a little bit of gameplay between both TVs running on game settings, for picture setting gaming. And looking at both TVs, they both they look similar, but for the A90J that is on the right, you do see a lot more. You do see a lot more detail that I was looking at compared to the A90J, and also the motion too. When if you slow the video a little bit, you'll start to notice it that the A9F is not a slouch at all, but the motion on the A90J is better. And I mentioned it in some other videos before, but I just wanted to just show you the comparison between each other. And then also too, when it comes to shadow detail and looking at this, just the depth and detail and the skin detail and the clothing. If you look at the A90J, you can see the differences between both. So I'm about to go ahead in this video, and if you like this type of video, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and set those notifications if you like this type of content. And if you would like to see anything else, please hit those comments and let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. Just want to say thank you guys for everything, and until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Hope everyone have a good one. Take care.